Breaking right now, she's done it again. Meghan Markle has ripped off her new podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, from this woman.
Meghan Markle is back in the headlines. This time, not for royal drama, but for allegedly stealing a podcast idea. The internet is not happy. Is this another case of Hollywood elite taking advantage? Let's get into the truth behind this controversy.
And it is particularly shameful because this woman is exactly the sort of person who you'd think Meghan Markle would want to back. Katie Matei, young Irish woman, entrepreneur, who literally launched the show Confessions of a Female Founder in October 2023. Here's the video.
Guys, my name's Katie. I'm founder and owner of Veil Street. So excited to kick off today's video, and I want to give you guys a grand welcome to episode 1 of Confessions of a Female Founder, tell all series where I share my experiences and advice as a 23-year-old entrepreneur. I've been in business since the age of 16.
Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, joins me now. Angela, this has to be her lowest blow yet, her biggest rip-off yet, because this poor woman, Katie Matei, who came up with Confessions of a Female Founder, has actually posted on Instagram overnight saying, what is happening and how did I get dragged into this? In other words, Meghan hasn't even approached her and said, can I use this name? Can I give you some money to take your intellectual copyright? Nope, she's just gone and done it. And I feel that, it's so shameless.
Well, it is. It's hugely shameless. But it does tell you that she never learns. She never wants to actually acknowledge that she's made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Say, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I must have dreamt it or something like that. She couldn't give a moment's thought to anybody else.
So what exactly is happening here? Meghan Markle launched her podcast with high-profile guests and a glossy PR campaign. Reports say a young entrepreneur pitched a similar concept to Meghan's team months before. Now their version has disappeared, while Meghan's is thriving. Coincidence? You tell me.
And that is Meghan, exactly what she's like. She's a monster. She couldn't care about anyone. And that's what she does. She just takes it and that's it. Never mind, it's stolen, actually, isn't it? It's absolutely stolen. She couldn't care about that at all.
I mean, Angela, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. It's completely stolen. I mean, what, we're meant to believe that Meghan didn't see this or her team didn't see this, yet it's exactly the same name. And as you say, Angela, if this was a one-off mistake and she admitted it, then maybe we'd be okay with it. But her track record of rip-offs is just constant. I mean, actually, we spoke about it earlier in the week, and we'll be putting up a video at the weekend of you completely exposing her ripping off Martha Stewart's one pot pasta video in With Love Meghan. So unfortunately, Meghan Markle doesn't have an original idea in her own head, but I just think this one in particular is so shameful because she claims to care about young women launching their own businesses, yet she is prepared to rip this young woman off. Now, what should happen now, Angela, is there should be an apology and money should exchange hands. But do you think that will happen?
No, she just pretends it's not happening. We have seen for 5 years now that if she makes a mistake or she's very rude or, says something or behaves somewhere, it is absolutely not accepted. She just closes the door in her mind. You don't see her for a few days, then up she pops, couldn't care less, off she goes. Sometimes people say that she's very upset and she's been crying, but I don't think so. I think she's so hardened that she couldn't care less because she's not trying to improve at all with anybody, to anybody. And I think it's absolutely appalling. And when she's being on different programs, she couldn't care less about anything there. Nothing.
People are calling this out, saying Meghan stole the concept, leaving the original creator in the dust. The person at the center of this scandal is a rising entrepreneur who worked tirelessly to develop their podcast concept. But instead of a partnership, all communication suddenly went silent.
I think she is just revolting. And that's why Harry is in such a state, because he can't understand what he should do next. You know, he loves her, part of her, but, you know, she's the sort of woman that you can't ever really say, well, you know, don't say that about me. Don't do this about me. Don't allow me only 3 minutes in your 8 instant in your work. I'd like to be a bit more. He doesn't dare. So that's what I've said for a long time, that he's scared of her because she couldn't care less about anyone. And as for the royal family, she would love to do it. I read actually this morning that somebody said that she couldn't care less about them. And she really, her ideal is to hurt them in any way that she could. And this is even beyond that, isn't it?
Yes.
For a young girl like that, who's been very hard. And
A young female founder. Yep. Exactly.
Thinking about what to do, and yet she couldn't care less. And we see that because she says one thing and she does another. The hypocrisy is just extraordinary. But I think it's now coming to a head where she's going ridiculously around. I mean, she's doing one thing after another because she wants to be seen and heard, and she adores Instagram. It's like her best friend now, and she's going to talk and talk and talk. She can't stop. And she won't let anybody else stop her. This picture of her, she looks as if she's from a sort of, there's been a terrible effect. And she looks very dangerous. And don't come after me. Look, it's very, very hard, her face.
Then, months later, boom, Meghan Markle's podcast debuts with a similar format. That's when the accusations started flying. Meghan's team responds, or do they? Meghan's team hasn't officially responded, but insiders claim they deny any wrongdoing. They say the podcast was in development for years and any similarities are coincidental.
I am the queen. I'm the one who owns this.
Don't mess with me.
Exactly. Don't mess with me. She looks like that. Now, if you wanted to be positive and saying, I'm talking to a lot of girls, a lot of women, and we're going to talk about all things, and I'm going to learn lots of things, then you expect some sort of smile, some sort of enthusiasm. This is definitely don't mess with me.
Big time, which is the new era, isn't it? But my goodness, Angela, the reaction to this podcast, whoa, it was really strong. The Spectator headlined their coverage, Does Meghan Need Another Podcast? And their writer, Alistair Larman, said success, Winston Churchill supposedly once remarked, is the ability to go from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. If this is indeed the case, then Meghan Markle's 2025 thus far represents a remarkable series of triumphs and victories. Alex Phillips, very good, wasn't it? Alex Phillips, our friend, a regular here on Outspoken, posted on X, the only thing you've found, speaking to Meghan Markle, is a mentally ill prince with mummy issues you manipulate. And the Royal News Network, Angela, she actually changed the title of the show and said, fixed it. Meghan Markle should title her show Confessions of a Grifter. Now that I would listen to. According to Taz, another regular here, said, oh no, please no. There is not enough Advil in the world. Why not do a podcast called Confessions of a Femme Fatale? Get your bingo cards ready, folks. Talks over guests, anecdotes about her life with every guest, swipes at the royal family, lies about her childhood.
Fans aren't buying it. The timeline seems awfully convenient. Many call this a classic case of Hollywood silencing smaller voices. But what do you think? Internet reactions and backlash. The internet is not letting this slide. Influencers are calling Meghan out. One tweet said, imagine working your whole life for a dream project just to have it stolen by royalty.
And Angela, what was quite astonishing about this, and again, it was pointed out by Brittany at the Royal News Network, there's only 8 episodes. Brittany says that's pathetic. Wonder if she had a tough time getting guests, and that's why the number is so small.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, she's not going to listen to any of those 8 women. We saw with Spotify that people weren't allowed to have a conversation. What she feels anywhere really is to tell them about herself. She's not interested. She might ask a quick question. She doesn't know how to interview. She doesn't know how to ask questions. It's, I'm telling you about me. Then when she's traveling and she went to see a whole load of children, she said, and I'm sure you want to know all about how I did this, and I was very good at school, and I told everybody what they should do and how they should do it. She feels that we all get enormous pleasure from knowing everything she does and how she does it. We don't, but she won't recognize that. She's not interested. But it's a waste of time talking to these ladies. She doesn't even allow them to say very much, because she'll be in the second sentence and she'll be telling them all about her and how dreadful it was and how awful it was. And she was so upset, but she struggled through and she's made it. And oh, she's so thrilled. And you have to do what I'm doing, which is keep going. Oh, really? I think she's one of the most hated women in the world now. She was the most famous, and now I think she's the most hated, because you go through loads of people and I can't find anybody who likes her, who thinks, unless she pays them, but unless she thinks that she's all right, she's not.
Another user wrote, "This is why small creators can't trust big names anymore." And honestly, they have a point. What happens next? Could there be legal action? Experts say it's possible. If the entrepreneur has proof, there could be grounds for a lawsuit. But going up against a massive celebrity, that's not an easy fight.
I'm going to get a load of letters and emails from all her friends and her paid friends.
Yeah, but they're a diminishing number, Angela, because look, it's really interesting that you point out the reaction across the world, because what's fascinating to me is how much negativity there is now emanating from the United States of America and Canada. And I wanted to share a couple of examples of you about that I've picked up over the past 24 hours, Angela, from very highly respected people, actually, across the political spectrum too. So Gad Saad.
Not people who want to be unkind.
No.
But they can't stand her. Yeah.
I mean, Gad Saad, for example, he posted, "It is almost impossible to imagine someone who is more vacuous in her delusional narcissism than this degenerate." And then this line I thought was very funny, Angela. "Her wife, Harry, is clueless."
I know.
He's very clever. And then actually, this is more interesting though, because as you say, it's from people who don't want to be negative. Mary Catherine Ham, she's a Democrat in America and widely considered to be a very kind person. And she posted, "Meghan Markle violates my press release rule. Each person only gets so many press releases allotted in a lifetime. Graduations, marriages, divorces, babies, job changes. Other people only have so much capacity to celebrate or be excited about your stuff. This is why a third wedding announcement, or say a fourth baby, might get less fanfare than a first. Fair enough, you have stuff going on. The modern social media era has exacerbated the press release problem, as everyone has made a press release of everything. Your gender reveals, your 100K followers, your therapy breakthrough, your second gender ID change, and third sexual proclivity announcement. At some point, people just can't care. And at another point, they get annoyed you're insisting they care. We are on at least Meghan's 6th or 7th public reinvention at this point, her 5th or so product launch. Each an uncomfortable false start, followed by a period of highly paid, inauthentic, and unimpressive work. There are too many press releases. Many people were at can't care anymore a while ago and might not have progressed to so annoyed, except her brand cohesive, vertically synergistic, corporately required to recoup ubiquity for each launch leads us to a new cycle of wait. She's launching another podcast, bespoke jam, company, logo, ethos, last name, thought, leadership, mothership. Too many press releases."
This story isn't going away anytime soon. What do you think? Now I want to hear from you. Did Meghan Markle and her team steal this podcast idea, or is social media overreacting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Love deep dives into celebrity scandals? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.